My brothers and sisters, let me tell you something that will change the future of our beloved Burkina Faso forever. The world tried to keep us in darkness, but we have decided to bring light to our people. We are going nuclear. And this is not just a dream anymore. This is our reality. Listen carefully, because what I'm about to share with you today will show you exactly how we are breaking free from the chains that have held Africa down for centuries. This is about dignity. This is about sovereignty. This is about refusing to beg for electricity while we sit on resources that could power entire nations. You know, my brothers and sisters, when we first announced that Burkina Faso would pursue nuclear energy, many people laughed at us. They said it was impossible. They said we were dreaming too big. Some even called it a publicity stunt. But let me ask you this. When has anyone ever achieved greatness by thinking small? When has any nation ever risen from its knees by accepting the limitations that others placed upon them? Just a few days ago, on January 27th, our Transitional Legislative Assembly took a historic step. They unanimously approved our accession to the Vienna Convention on Civil Liability for Nuclear Damage. Every single member voted yes. Not one person stood against the future of our country. This was not just a vote. This was a declaration to the entire world that Burkina Faso is ready to take its place among nations that control their own destiny. Now, some of you might be asking, what is this Vienna Convention? Why does it matter? Let me explain it to you in simple terms. This convention was created to make sure that if anything goes wrong with nuclear activities, there is a clear system to protect people and provide compensation. Under this treaty, the operator of a nuclear facility is fully responsible for any damage, regardless of who is at fault. This is exactly the kind of framework we need to protect our citizens while we move forward with this ambitious project. But understand this clearly, this accession to the Vienna Convention is not just a legal formality. This is us sending a powerful message to the international community. We are telling them that we are serious. We are telling them that we are ready to adopt globally recognized standards for managing nuclear activities. We are showing them that an African nation can handle advanced technology responsibly and safely. The Vienna Convention is actually a prerequisite for any serious international nuclear cooperation. Without it, no country would partner with us on such a critical project. So by joining this convention, we have cleared one of the major legal hurdles standing between us and our nuclear future. This is progress, my brothers and sisters. Real, tangible progress. Let me take you back to last June. That's when we signed the final documents of our historic intergovernmental nuclear deal with the Russian Federation. This agreement involves the construction of nuclear infrastructure, specifically for peaceful purposes, managed by Rosatom, Russia's state-owned nuclear corporation. We had already taken many important steps before that, signing a roadmap with Rosatom, concluding 4 memoranda of understanding throughout 2024. But that June signing opened new prospects for our nation and marked the completion of several critical stages in this process. From that moment forward, the path became clear for our electronuclear program with Russia. The cooperation framework was established, and now with this recent parliamentary approval, we have the legal foundation we need to move ahead with confidence. You see, there are 2 main reasons why this nuclear cooperation with Russia is so important for us. First, it addresses our desperate energy needs. Burkina Faso is one of the least electrified countries in the entire world. Think about that for a moment. We live in the 21st century, yet millions of our people still sit in darkness every night. Our industries cannot grow. Our hospitals struggle to function. Our schools cannot properly educate our children, all because we lack reliable electricity. By partnering with Russia on nuclear energy, we are diversifying our energy sources and taking control of our own power supply. We refuse to remain dependent on systems that have failed us repeatedly. We refuse to continue begging foreign companies and foreign governments for something as basic as electricity. This is about self-reliance. This is about building the foundation for real economic development. The second point is equally important. This deal demonstrates how we are reshaping our international relationships. For too long, Africa has been told who we can work with and who we cannot work with. We have been told which partnerships are acceptable and which are forbidden. But who gave anyone the right to make these decisions for us? Who appointed the gatekeepers of African sovereignty? After the transformations that took place in our region between 2020 and 2023, new governments came to power in Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger. We made the decision to walk away from ECOWAS, an organization that no longer served our interests. We formed our own alliance of Sahel states. We distanced ourselves from former Western allies who treated us like children instead of partners. And yes, we walked away from France, our former colonizer, which has enriched itself for decades by exploiting our resources. In May of last year, I traveled to Moscow to meet with President Vladimir Putin. We discussed strengthening our military cooperation because we share a common goal, the fight against terrorism and extremism. President Putin made it clear that Russia would continue to assist us in restoring stability and constitutional order, while helping us combat the radical groups that operate in certain regions of Burkina Faso. I told President Putin something very important during that meeting. I told him that the war being imposed on us today is just another manifestation of imperialism disguised as counter-terrorism. The so-called terrorists we fight are not independent actors. They are tools being used by those who want our land, who want our resources, who want to keep us weak and divided. Ending this war, building a strong army, and launching the development of our homeland. This is the essence of our struggle. And I asked Russia specifically to help us train our military leaders, because we understand that true independence requires both economic sovereignty and security sovereignty. You cannot have one without the other. A nation that cannot defend itself cannot truly be free, no matter how many resources it possesses. Now let me address something directly, because I know there are doubters out there. When we talk about nuclear energy, some people immediately think of weapons. They think of Iran. They think of international sanctions and threats. They wonder if Burkina Faso has secret military ambitions with this nuclear program. Let me be absolutely clear with you, my brothers and sisters. This nuclear program is for civilian purposes only. We are building this infrastructure to generate electricity and support our country's energy needs. The type of nuclear plant we are constructing uses non-enriched uranium. This is fundamentally different from the highly enriched uranium needed to make atomic weapons. Even in the unlikely event of an accident, the damage would be far less severe than with a military nuclear facility. We have committed ourselves to the peaceful use of nuclear technology by joining the Vienna Convention. This convention explicitly requires that nuclear energy be used for peaceful purposes only. By making this commitment, we are entering into what I would call a logic of pacification. We are reassuring the international community about our intentions while simultaneously asserting our right to develop advanced technology for the benefit of our people. But I will be honest with you, not everyone is happy about this. The international community is watching us very closely right now. Some Western powers are uncomfortable seeing an African nation pursue nuclear energy. They prefer to keep this technology for themselves, while telling us we should stick to solar panels and windmills. They say we are not ready. They say we don't have the expertise. They say it's too dangerous for countries like ours. But here is what they really mean. They want to maintain their monopoly on advanced technology. They want to keep Africa dependent and controllable. Because a Burkina Faso with energy independence is a Burkina Faso that cannot be easily manipulated. A Burkina Faso that generates its own electricity is a Burkina Faso that can build its own industries, educate its own people, and chart its own course in the world. If it weren't for Russia's willingness to partner with us on this project, it would not be possible. France, which calls itself our historical partner, would never transfer this technology to us. Why would they? They have been enriching themselves with our uranium for decades, using it to power their own country while we remain in darkness. They gorge themselves on our resources while lecturing us about development and democracy. This is why multilateralism is so important. This is why we must work with nations that respect us as equals, that are willing to share technology and knowledge, rather than hoarding it for themselves. Russia has shown that kind of partnership. China has shown that kind of partnership. These are the relationships that will lift Africa up, not the neo-colonial arrangements that have kept us down for generations. Many African countries have nuclear deposits but don't dare to pursue nuclear energy. Even Niger, our partner in the Alliance of Sahel States, has significant uranium reserves, but has never developed its own nuclear program. Why? Because they were told it was too complicated, too expensive, too dangerous. Because the international system is designed to keep certain technologies out of African hands. But we are changing that narrative. We are proving that African nations can master advanced technology when we have willing partners and the political will to push forward, despite obstacles and opposition. This is about more than just electricity. This is about dignity. This is about proving to ourselves and to the world that we are capable of achieving anything we set our minds to. The suffering our people endure because of energy poverty is real, and it is urgent. How many times have you experienced power cuts in your neighborhood? How many times have businesses closed because they couldn't afford generators? How many students have struggled to study at night because there was no electricity for lights? How many hospitals have lost patients because life-saving equipment stopped working during a blackout? These are not abstract problems. These are daily realities for millions of our people, and we have the responsibility, the moral obligation, to solve these problems by any means necessary. If nuclear energy is the path to reliable, affordable electricity for all of Burkina, then we will take that path regardless of who approves or disapproves. Our Transitional Legislative Assembly understood this when they voted unanimously to approve the Vienna Convention. They understood that this is about creating a legal framework that protects our citizens while enabling us to move forward with this critical project. The law clarifies how nuclear energy will be used, establishes compensation mechanisms in case of accidents, and reassures foreign partners that we are committed to international safety standards. This is responsible governance. This is what leadership looks like when you put your people first, instead of worrying about what foreign powers think. Every country has the right to pursue energy independence through whatever means they choose, as long as they do so responsibly and with proper safeguards in place. Now, I know some people will continue to doubt us. They will say that we might start with civilian nuclear energy, but eventually shift to military applications. They will point to the fact that we are fighting terrorism, and suggest that we might want nuclear weapons for security purposes. These doubts are understandable given the current international climate and the way African nations are often viewed with suspicion. But let me say this clearly. We have made a commitment to the peaceful use of nuclear technology, and we intend to honor that commitment. However, we also reserve the right to make decisions based on the evolving needs and security situation of our country. What I will not accept is the idea that certain nations can have any technology they want, while African nations must forever remain technologically inferior and dependent. The double standards in the international system are obvious to anyone paying attention. Western nations lecture us about nuclear proliferation, while they maintain massive nuclear arsenals. They warn us about the dangers of nuclear energy, while they use it to power their own cities and industries. They tell us to rely on renewable energy, while they continue building new nuclear plants for themselves. We see through these contradictions. We understand that the real concern is not about safety or proliferation. It's about power and control. It's about maintaining a global hierarchy where Africa remains at the bottom, forever consuming technology created elsewhere, rather than developing our own capabilities. That system is ending, my brothers and sisters. Not just in Burkina Faso, but across Africa. We are in the beginning stages of a profound transformation. More and more African nations are refusing to accept the limitations placed upon them. More and more African leaders are prioritizing their people's needs over the approval of former colonial powers. I truly believe that other African countries will follow our example with nuclear energy. When they see Burkina Faso successfully generating electricity through nuclear power, when they see our industries growing and our cities lit up at night, when they see our people finally free from energy poverty, they will ask themselves why they cannot do the same. The path forward will not be easy. I have no illusions about that. The international community will scrutinize every step we take. There will be pressure, both subtle and overt, to slow down or abandon this project. There will be concerns raised at the United Nations, articles written in Western newspapers warning about the dangers of African nuclear programs, perhaps even threats of sanctions. But we have faced worse challenges than international pressure. We are fighting terrorism daily. We are rebuilding our nation after years of instability. We are transforming our entire economic and political system. If we can do all of that, we can certainly handle some criticism from countries that have never wanted to see Africa succeed in the first place. What matters most is the support of our people. What matters is whether Burkinabe understand and believe in this vision of energy independence and national development. What matters is whether we can maintain the unity and determination that has brought us this far despite enormous obstacles. I am confident that our people will stand with us on this journey, because they understand what is at stake. They understand that without energy there can be no development. Without development there can be no prosperity. Without prosperity there can be no dignity. And without dignity we are not truly free, no matter what our constitution says. This is why the recent parliamentary vote was so significant. It showed that our elected representatives understand the magnitude of this project and support moving forward with it. It showed national unity around a vision that will transform our country for generations to come. It showed that Burkina Faso is ready to take its place among nations that control their own energy future. As we move forward with construction and implementation, we will continue to follow international safety standards. We will continue to work closely with our Russian partners who have decades of experience in nuclear technology. We will continue to keep our people informed about progress and any challenges that arise. Transparency and accountability will be central to this entire process. The nuclear power plant we are building will use technology specifically designed for safety and reliability. Modern nuclear reactors have multiple redundant safety systems that make catastrophic accidents extremely unlikely. And remember, we are using non-enriched uranium, which further reduces any potential risks. Our partnership with Rosatom gives us access to some of the most advanced nuclear technology in the world, operated by experts with extensive experience in this field. But beyond the technical details, what this project represents is something even more important. Hope. Hope that Africa can break free from centuries of exploitation and dependence. Hope that our children will grow up in countries with reliable electricity and modern infrastructure. Hope that we can build industries, create jobs, and generate wealth for our own people instead of enriching foreign corporations. This is the future we are fighting for every single day. This is why we made the difficult decisions to transform our relationships and partnerships. This is why we are willing to face international pressure and criticism. Because we believe that our people deserve better than what they have been given for the past century. My brothers and sisters, as I conclude, I want you to understand that this nuclear energy program is just one part of a much larger transformation taking place in Burkina Faso and across the Sahel region. We are reimagining what is possible for African nations. We are refusing to accept the role assigned to us in the global economic system. We are building something new based on sovereignty, dignity, and mutual respect among nations. The journey ahead will be long and difficult, but it is a journey worth taking. Every great achievement in history required people to believe in possibilities that others said were impossible. Every revolution required courage to challenge systems that seemed permanent and unchangeable. Every transformation required sacrifice and determination in the face of opposition. We have that courage. We have that determination. And with the support of our people and our partners who believe in our vision, we will succeed. Burkina Faso will have reliable, affordable electricity generated by our own nuclear power plant. Our industries will grow. Our economy will develop. Our people will prosper. And when that day comes, everyone will see that what we built here was not just a nuclear power plant. It was the foundation of true independence. Thank you, my brothers and sisters, for standing with us on this journey. Together we will light up Burkina Faso and show all of Africa what is possible when we refuse to be limited by others' expectations. The future is ours to build, and we are building it with nuclear energy and unwavering determination. May God bless Burkina Faso, may God bless Africa, and may God bless all those who stand for true sovereignty and dignity for our people.